Hey guys, Aaron here, back with another kind of unboxing video, I guess. Yeah, what you are looking at here is a rather unique and funky CPU cooler from the, I want to say, mid to late 2000s, I think. It's got a bit of a wide range of socket support or CPU support, which is kind of interesting. You can see that it does support the first generation of Core i5 and Core i7s, and obviously i3s and that as well. But yeah, this is a rather interesting cooler by a company called Titan. Probably better known for doing the OEM and workstation style, pretty boring coolers, not really anything like this. And then for some reason they branched out and did some weird butterfly themed and shaped coolers. Maybe the owner's daughter or something wanted to build a PC and wanted a fancy cooler, and he decided, hey, why not? Anyway, thank you, whoever come up with doing this. It's kind of interesting. You make the market a bit more fun. But yeah, we're going to check this out. This is a new inbox cooler that come all the way from Germany. Took around 3 months to get here. Thankfully, it's turned up in what I would say is remarkable condition, considering the economy post that it went in. The box is, it's got a few little corner marks and stuff, but considering its age, it is in, the box is in immaculate condition. So it's probably just been stuck in a warehouse or a shop somewhere, inventory, and not moved until they decided to sell it. But yeah, this is actually the Vanessa branding. This sort of marketing, is something very indicative of that era. Had so many different companies using fantasy style characters in not much clothing to market their products. So yeah, the guy from Retro Hardware YouTube channel actually did a purple, I think it was purple or maybe pink themed build with the other version of this cooler. This one is the L type, and I believe the one that he had is maybe the J type. I can't remember the letter, but there's like an L type and there's another letter type. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. That one has like your standard sort of 3, or six heat pipes, basically, like your 3 of them that go in, your loop, like your modern, Cooler Master one, for example. This one is a little bit different. I don't know if you can tell by the little picture here, but yeah, this has got a butterfly kind of design to it, and kind of shape and design. 120mm fan, but yeah, a little bit of interesting CPU support. Oh, I think I just bumped my my mouse that was on charge in and out there. So we've got support for both your Pentium 4 775 and 478, and then your AMD K7 and K8. So that's your socket A 462 and your Athlon 64 era of CPUs as well, from the first gen to the last gen of Athlon 64s. And of course, as I mentioned, this one has the upgrade kit for the first generation Intel Core i5 and i7 CPUs as well. Now, let me zoom back out a little bit, and let's unbox this thing. See, rather cool. Comes with a definitely very typical, very lightweight screwdriver with a very mild or somewhat weak magnet tip. Yeah, so this is the original accessories box for all the mentioned socket supports on the back, and then the one under here is the Intel socket 1156 and 1366 support. So it comes with this really nice little aluminium, sort of brushed aluminium floppy drive sized 2.5 inch. No, sorry, 3.5 inch controller. with a nice dial on it to go from low, medium and high, of course, and I think you can, yeah, so it's not, you can progress it anywhere in between that. This nice chrome metallic blue fan with chrome blades. It's not metal, it is plastic. It is just a standard 3-pin. This is sort of before the era of PWM, somewhat around PWM support. Let's get the cooler out and just sit it there, and let's take the plastic out. Yeah, so this is the additional Intel mounting kit we've got added in, and then you've got your instruction manuals. Yeah, you don't really need to see these. This just goes through all of this. I love that they've actually got proper pictures. Let me just there we go, so you can see that a bit better. I love that they've actually got proper diagrams of everything. That's really cool. This, I mean, like, this is a really high quality manual. It's a fold out one. It's kind of cool, but yeah, it's kind of nice. This is definitely meant for the European market, even though there's the primary thing here is all in English. They've got all the different European and Asian ones as well. So we've got Korean and Chinese, but it looks at Spanish, French, Russian, and German. Cool. Now, these are for the original cooler, I believe. In here, yeah, so in here they've got just a printed one for with. Whoop, let me grab that again. Oh. So this is a little bit more like a an afterthought. Obviously, this is a photocopy where they've taken some pretty okay, what would have looked like okay photos, and then got some really bad quality images on here. I don't know how well the camera picks this up, but they're really bad quality. There's no way you can see exactly all the details on that. That's funny. But I mean, you know, if you can read the other ones, you roughly know what's going on there. And yeah, it's just a mounting kit with some screws. Anyway, let's move on to the cooler, and I'm going to just go like that. So yeah, 120mm fan, standard 3-pin connector, aluminium fins, and all the fins are cut out in the shape of a butterfly. And oh, look at this. Ooh, there we go. It's nice and shiny. So this has some very chunky and thick heat pipes on it. Or sorry, it has one very chunky and thick heat pipe on it. As you can see, that just runs straight through the center to the top. That is a very chunky heatsink. Clearly it wouldn't fit on modern CPUs because there is no extra thing that goes on here other than the mounting hardware that sits around it. So you know, this is barely going to cover, you know, like a Ryzen, modern day Ryzen die, for example. This is definitely for monolithic dies with just, you know, just your dies in the center. Maybe would have been interesting to see what this was actually like then with the first dual core CPUs that were actually still split dies, whether this had decent enough coverage. I'm planning to use this on a single core CPU anyway that won't have that trouble, so on a 478 Pentium 4 3.4. So yeah, that's, I mean, the fins on this are even really thick. They're not your fragile thin fins. So this the fin array on this is really chunky, which is rather interesting. Then your nice chrome shiny fan. Pretty typical looking, like the blade design and everything. It looks like a very common, you know, standardized blade and fin design of the era. Yeah, pretty normal. And you can see that there are the 4 holes here, that's so that you can put your screwdriver all the way down through and reach these little screws that then mount onto the little holes around here. So you basically have that like that, and that's what would mount together. You basically just screw that in there, and that's essentially it. You mount it to the motherboard. So that's the i5 one. In the accessory kit here, let me set that up off to the side. Oh, yeah. So yeah, so here's all your main accessories. Some thermal paste, which we will, what do they call that? Nano grease. Okay, I'm probably not going to use that. I'm going to use some Arctic Silver, I think. So here's your socket A bracket. Interesting. With a nice little screw lever design. That's cool. We have, oh, drops one there. This one looks like, so Pentium 4 Northwood, so your 478. This one looks like AM. Yeah, this is your AM2 support, so you have these holes line up with the two holes on either side of the socket, and then you just have the long screws that go through and meet up with the back plate on that standard AMD socket. It looks like we've got here a couple of PCI covers and some other brackets in here for something. Interesting. I know, I mean, that's a PCI cover, so that's pretty self-explanatory, but there's two other things here that I'm not quite sure what they are. Oh, they're extenders for the for this. So if you have a case that doesn't support this shallow of mounting, you can put these on there by the looks of it to extend the arms out to go all the way down to here. So okay, that's interesting. And then you have your socket 775 bracket with back plate by the looks of it in that as well. So that is the cool Vanessa L-type CPU tower cooler. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will do a video featuring this mounted on my really cool purple themed retro build very soon. That's in a bit of a unique case considering the hardware. So yeah, stay tuned for that video. May even get it done this weekend, so you might see it within a couple of days. Stay tuned. Have a good one.